Hi everyone, what's going on? Welcome and thank you for being here. Today we are diving into how to create impactful LinkedIn videos with Tanya Dubey, the founder of Creator Chart. A quick introduction of Tanya. She's the former leader of the LinkedIn Creator Accelerator has significantly influenced the LinkedIn community, impacting more than 15,000 creators. She excels in helping professionals build social capital by simplifying their content creation process. Welcome, Tanya. We're grateful to have you here with us.
Great. Thanks so much, Nilavjita. Really happy about the kind of introduction that you've given me, and very happy to be here too.
Awesome. So, with this masterclass series, we aim to share first-hand knowledge from top professionals in their field. So, make sure that you stay tuned until the end. First, we have a special announcement for everyone. We have a secret offer for all of you who are watching us right now. If you use the code Tanya10, that's TANYA10, you get an additional 10% off on the already existing 50% off on all our annual plans. And that's a total of 60% discount on our yearly paid plans. Please note that the offer is not applicable on our monthly plans. It's exclusive for those of you attending this webinar. Go on the vidyo.ai app, click upgrade, and you enter the code in the designated section, and voila, you get your discounted deal. If you have any additional questions, drop your questions for the support team in the chat. And to begin with, I would like you all to comment in the chat if you use LinkedIn for sharing video content. You can comment yes or no. All right,
While
Tanya, we'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, and while we wait for people to comment, would love to, by the way, know if you have, because I was just telling Nilavjita before we started that I'm trying to create more video content, and the deal, by the way, sounds amazing. So do use the code to help us down there, and of course, help yourself with a great deal. And yeah, I'm just going to share my screen. We have a very interesting presentation for you. Um, can you see my screen? Comment again, yes or no.
Yes, I
Amazing.
can. Folks, let us know if you can see the screen, see the presentation on your screen. Just give us thumbs up or comment yes in the chat. Great, they can see it. Awesome. Let's go.
Amazing. Great. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we have a very special vidyo.ai masterclass, of course, by Creator Chart. Now, who am I? I think I've already gotten a great introduction by Nilavjita, but quickly giving you an overview about my career. I used to be a journalist before. I have worked at LinkedIn for 4 years. Like Nilavjita mentioned, I was first APAC LinkedIn Creator Manager. I also led LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program in India, and I've impacted over 15,000 creators within the LinkedIn ecosystem. Now, what is Creator Chart itself? Well, Creator Chart was just started 3 months back, and we help professionals build social capital by making content creation easier and effective for them. Effective being the word, because I know all of you really care about numbers, and we're here just to help you get those numbers, but of course, by being true to your own personal and professional brand as you do that. I'll tell you more about how we do that at the end, and how you can work with us if you're interested. Now, what's in store for you today? We're going to be talking about LinkedIn video best practices. We're going to be talking about where do LinkedIn videos fit into your current funnel, marketing funnel, and flywheel. We will also talk about inbound lead generation, because I know a lot of entrepreneurs are joining me today in this masterclass. We're also going to be talking about video thumbnails, and how important or not important they are in the LinkedIn ecosystem. And of course, the 3 month program and what's next. How can you get involved? How can you work with me and my team at Creator Chart? And of course, we are waiting for all the kind of questions that you have. So please keep them coming in the chat. We will be taking them at the end. And so let's go. So to get started, if you are creating content on LinkedIn and you're not creating videos, these are some of the basics that you have to make sure when you get started. Now, the thing is that LinkedIn, at the end of the day, is a professional platform. So, the concepts that you come up with, the kind of content that you're creating on video, needs to be more informative versus entertaining. That being said, you don't need to create boring videos. You have to, of course, get your personality out there, be yourself, but you have to make sure that you're adding value by sharing some sort of information or helpful tip with your audience, and that's exactly how you can grow on the platform. Now, captions are really important on LinkedIn. People love to read on LinkedIn. The LinkedIn audience is really one of those audiences still left in the social media landscape that loves to read. So, your caption has to add more context to the video. A lot of people actually take parts of their script and also put it on the video caption, because they know that that will add a lot more nuance, and people might actually read the content of your caption but might not watch your video at work, because they might not have headphones. A lot of people still use LinkedIn on their desktop, because it's one of those social media platforms that are okay to access during work. So that is something that you have to keep in mind, that people like to read, and your caption need to add more nuance to the LinkedIn video content that you're creating. Now, what are the essentials? We talked about what were like the best practices. Now, what we have to talk about the essentials. Hashtags still are really popular on LinkedIn. They are going to be discontinued in the future, by the way. That's something that we have found out. But till now, hashtags are clickable, which means that if you are putting hashtags in your content, it will probably reach a broader audience. They are slowly trying to take it off. Like Instagram, I think hashtag are not relevant, because if you're putting a caption and you're putting those words out there, they should usually work. Um, Usually, people ask me how many hashtags are great on LinkedIn. Just so that you don't look very cluttered, I would say 3 to 5 is a good starting point. And always think broad. So, hashtags like job, career, marketing, entertainment, these kind of hashtags are very relevant to your industry or the topic that you're talking about. They perform really well. You can also search in the search box for the hashtags and find out how many followers does each hashtag have. So yes, hashtags are followers on LinkedIn. That is something that you can look at, which means these are people who will see your hashtag if they're following that particular hashtag, or they are the relevant audience for that hashtag. Another thing I would say, on LinkedIn, your experience and verification section should be completed. Essentially, they are the RTB, or reasons to believe, for people to follow you. So, let's say if you are talking about education, and if you have the background in education, that'll just add or encourage people to follow you on the platform. Having a very strong headline is also very important, and having a clickable link for you, if you're an entrepreneur or a creator who has, like, let's say if you're building a community, these clickable links, there's one clickable link you can have if you have a LinkedIn Premium. I would encourage you to get LinkedIn Premium, because you will get a lot more, I would say, like, benefits from the platform. You'll be also be able to see who's actually looking at your profile, because there are a lot of, what I would say, decision makers, and you might want to connect with them if they have discovered your content, and they might have checked you out. You might want to reach out to them and say that, hey, you interacted with my comments, or you interacted with my content by engaging with my content, liking it, commenting on it. Would love to connect with you, and maybe explore any opportunities. So I think that is very important on LinkedIn. So what does that look like? I feel like I've been talking a lot about, hey, these are the essentials, but I wanted to talk about three of my favorite video creators who come from all around the world. On LinkedIn. One is Corporate Natalie. She's very popular on Instagram. I think also on YouTube Shorts. And she's actually also very popular on LinkedIn. You can already see she has 68,000 followers. She's also top voice, which means that she's verified on the platform. That adds a lot of nuance to her. She gets a lot of business actually out of LinkedIn. Now, how does she do that? So you see that she's added a lot of context in her about section, so she's not just left it blank. You see that she's highlighted the videos that she does. She knows that she's known for her videos, and she actually puts very relevant workplace related content on LinkedIn. The good thing is she already does workplace related content on Instagram and YouTube, so she's the right person to follow when it comes to like humorous videos on LinkedIn from a work context. And what you'll also notice from her is that she's very smart in the sense that she's put her handle, which is Corporate Natalie, on Instagram in as brackets. So she really doesn't care because she knows Natalie is a very popular name in the US or even all around the world. She doesn't care if she hasn't mentioned her entire name here because she can actually mention it somewhere down the line or even on her website that she's already linked here. She's actually put her handle so that people remember her from Instagram or YouTube and actually follow her here too. So if some of you are already popular creators, this is a great hack to create that credibility. You also have Nas Daily or Nusair Yasin here, who puts some of his even personal videos here on LinkedIn. And what he does is that he will mention a little bit more about why he's put this out there on LinkedIn, which means that he'll give a little bit more context. He might not do that on Instagram or YouTube because he doesn't need to. And of course, he's really good with editing, so he can put everything that he wants to say on in the video itself. But I think this is a great way to go about it. I work with Aditi Surana. She's actually a high performance coach, and she's a career coach. Her and I have been working for around 4 months now, and she is very interesting in the sense that she use a lot of the content from the video in the caption itself, and we see amazing results. We're seeing almost 300 likes here on this video, and on an average, she's like a 200 plus likes. She's also a top voice, by the way, and she just does that because she knows that a lot of people in India particularly are reading these captions. So a lot of people sometimes even watch the entire video because they know the kind of content that's going to be in the video, right? She has a very distinct style. She's wearing the sari here, so really getting that personality out there, making sure that you're not changing a lot from other platforms is really important, especially if you're a creator on other platforms. So these are great three examples that you should definitely look at. Now, of course, you're talking to Creator Chart and Tanya, so you will hear about what does the ideal content strategy on LinkedIn look like, especially for video creators. Now, like I said, LinkedIn audience has a lot of influencers in the corporate world. They're an audience of decision makers. So for you, you need to decide how are you targeting these decision makers. What do they like, at work? What concerns them? What are their aspirations? Which companies do you want to look at? Which industries do you want to target? What do they do outside of work? Because you can actually decide your niche on LinkedIn when it comes down to these things, right? If you really perfect this, you're going to get a lot of opportunities. Your LinkedIn DMs will be filled with people asking you how they can work with you. It's just how you do the CTA, how you really talk to the audience. And videos, by the way, are a great medium to do just that. Now, another thing I would want you to do. So there's a two-pronged approach at Creator Chart that we take. One is, your um, purpose, and we also look at, you know, um, who you want to be. So it's both that we look at. So your purpose, like why are you doing this, and second, like what is your aspiration from a persona perspective? Like how do you want to showcase yourself as a creator, right? Now, your purpose is always going to be, either that I want to work with other entrepreneurs, I want to partner with brands, I want to collaborate with them. If you're an entrepreneur, you might also want to look for leads for your business, even higher from LinkedIn. You might want to get invited to industry events. You want to be seen as a thought leader. You might even want to network with other creators like yourself, right? Because there are a lot of creators and what I would say creators on LinkedIn. Now, knowing this objective, and usually I would ask you to have two or three. It could be all of them, but having the top two or three really helps you to start with. Will really help you in sense of like prioritizing that what kind of content can you create on LinkedIn right now, because you want to have that consistency. Now, what does that consistency look like? All of you might already know about the marketing funnel here, and the four stages can be divided into four different things that you can do on LinkedIn. We already spoke about having a filled out LinkedIn profile, making sure that you've put out everything that you've done out there in the best of your abilities, putting out external links, all of that featured section, all of that needs to be filled um, on the LinkedIn profile. There are tons of YouTube videos that you can see to get that done. So I trust you. Look at some of your favorite creators like Tim Ferriss or even Chloe Shin is one of the new age creators who's doing a great job. Again, a top voice. Both of them are top voices. Getting the top voice badge, a lot of you might have that question, and we will address it later. Is fairly easy once you've figured out that this is a niche you want to build in and you've created that kind of thought leadership. So if you're a trusted voice in your industry, you are more likely to get that top voice badge, and that's what you would have seen um, on LinkedIn. That the top voices badge is usually given, the blue badge, by the way, not the AI given yellow badge. The blue badge is usually given out to industry leaders. Now, how can you really get a conversion from different types of actions that you do on LinkedIn, right? So really making sure that people follow you, increasing your engagement. That's again like getting them to the consideration stage. If you put your website out there, or if you are tracking the link that you put out there, here Tim Ferriss has put out his email newsletter because that's how he converts people. Chloe actually has put out her website itself. That's her way of getting conversions. And of course, how many people really sign up for that newsletter, or how many people actually click on that link and reach out to her for collaborating, or even signing up for her funnel is something that you have to look at as a creator or even as an entrepreneur. So that's something that you can do at LinkedIn, making sure that these best practices that I told you, they actually fit into your um, marketing funnel. Now, what does that look like from a content perspective? How can you create content that really helps you narrow down or make sure that you're getting leads and you're getting conversion from your content? I think introducing your brand if you're starting out, or even highlighting your industry insights, again, showcasing your thought leadership is really important. I think creating educational content, I'll keep using the word value, because on LinkedIn, if you're not providing value, people are not going to follow you. They're not going to follow you because you're aesthetically good looking, or they're not going to follow you unless you really create content that adds value to their career. That could be across the board, right? It could be more generic and more, what I would say, a large umbrella content, or it could be very specific, very technical, and that's also completely fine. It ends up building trust essentially, because people know that you're trying to, help them without really um, expecting anything. Again, you can create trust by sharing product demos if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a product person, or you can talk about testimonials. You can talk about the people that you worked with you, just to create that kind of trust again for people to convert in terms of leads, right? Um, Another thing that the video creators need to look at, because I said people do read, so writing content, even sometimes without video, might be a good idea, because two-liners also sometimes work on LinkedIn, but of course they need to be witty and interesting. And all of you are very creative, so I trust in you. That will actually help you create advocates. You'd be surprised how many people do that and get a lot of following, because they've just put out what people were thinking out there. But again, keep it respectful, keep it professional, keep it interesting, but you can still be yourself. Always remember that. I also have highlighted two other creators here. One is Karthik Srinivasan. He's a marketing consultant in India. And there's Shaze. She's also amazing. She's based out of Australia. Shaze is actually does amazing content on LinkedIn. And she usually sticks to videos, but you'll also see her talking about other topics without videos and using pictures. Now, Karthik here is very interesting. He actually talks a lot about advertisements, and he will literally give source credits to the advertisement and just give his insights here. So that industry insights I was telling you about, you sometimes don't even have to use your own video. You can actually share other people's videos and give your insights to really show people that, hey, I know what I'm talking about, and get more people to interact with your content. Now, I know a lot of you might be wondering that what are good video thumbnails, right? So, of course, I had to put out Gary Vee here, who's the OG, video creator, and he does this really well. He will try different formats. He will try um, different ways of editing, or different, even what I would say, um, different fonts to get that interesting topic highlighted. And you see here like how he started the video by how you can grow your team. Again, very broad topic. Everyone would be interested in something like this. And of course, like something that he does really well, and even other creators do really well. You can always incorporate things like a logo in the video. Make sure people are not copying it if it's not featuring someone like a face, or like if it's a general edited video. Um, Another thing you should be doing, that vertical videos are of course doing really well. So designed for mobile viewing, but that being said, people also access LinkedIn on their desktop. So both are great, but I think just mobile viewing is a great way to go about it. I don't know if you know, but LinkedIn is actually beta testing because I have the beta app. It's beta testing a separate mobile tab similar to TikTok and similar to Instagram. So that means, and TechCrunch already reported about it, that means that you might be seeing very interesting videos coming out on LinkedIn. So actually, the timing couldn't be better if you were trying to post videos on LinkedIn because they're going to have a separate tab, which means that you're going to get more engagement on these videos itself. Again, keeping it simple and uncluttered is the way to go. LinkedIn thrives on simplicity. You'd be surprised on like how many what I like to say poetry works. A lot of you people will know exactly what I'm talking about because a one-liner or a lot of spacing works on LinkedIn. That's because it's more readable usually. I would say do not do that. It just makes you look like a novice unless you're really um, making a point or it's a very short post. Maybe that's something you can experiment with. But I think keeping it simple, keeping it very true to your personal brand, keeping it professional is really important for you to work with different kind of people on LinkedIn and reach out to a very diverse audience across the world. Great. So we spoke about what does an ideal content strategy look like. Now let's talk about what a realistic content strategy looks like. So, what is your content strategy? In fact, right now, as you're talking to me, why don't you take out a paper or open a notepad on the side on your laptop or your phone and just write down that on LinkedIn itself, how do you can you share your perspective in your niche? Now, first of all, as a video creator, you have to find a niche. If you're not doing that, please do that. That's the only way to grow and succeed as a creator, in my opinion. And you can do that by you know really showing your expertise in certain in-demand skills. Now, by in-demand skills, I also mean video creation, and that means you can talk about addressing issues that get solved by learning this skill. You can talk about social media trends because you guys are creators. Of course, you know a lot about social media. You're always online. You can also provide value by sharing your opinions on something that's trending right now, and you'd be surprised how much engagement that gets. Now, the thing is that your audience will always be interested in your insights and your personal opinion on, or even experience that will help them advance in their career. All of you know the people who don't create videos, they low key want to create videos. Someone like me, they just don't know how to. So if you can even highlight your experience, you can talk about how you did what you did and how it made you successful. That's a very simple way of succeeding on LinkedIn by creating that kind of content. Now, we spoke about audience, and I think it's really important to be very clear about our audience because that way, you'll create content that will reach out to the right people, and you'll probably get the opportunities that you're looking for via LinkedIn. And something I can say very confidently compared to Instagram or YouTube or even TikTok, LinkedIn is the place to be if you want to get more business. Whether it's leads, whether it's people reaching out to you who might be potential customers, even people on Instagram or YouTube who are watching you and who want to work with you, they will find you on LinkedIn, which is why having a great LinkedIn presence is so important. Even as important, honestly, as having a manager or even hiring people to grow your business, because that's the way you're representing yourself to the corporate world, who are decision makers in a lot of these conversations, which will help you grow your own business. So, really looking at the demographic, location, job role, company size, seniority level is really important. If you're already active on LinkedIn and if you have premium, you can also see that what does your audience currently look like, and you can optimize for hey, how do I want to grow to ensure that hey, um, there's a point where I want more founders in my network, or there's a point where I want more senior leadership in my network. All of this data LinkedIn already gives you if you have LinkedIn Premium. So you can experiment with different things and see if they're reaching the right kind of people. Every time you post, you will obviously also get data on how much of those impressions reach different kind of people across the platform. Again, as you can imagine, you can address their needs, you can address their problems, you can address their interests, and you will probably be able to get them to engage and follow you, which is our um, purpose on LinkedIn itself. Great. So, what all should you be talking about if you're just getting started? I think to get started, simplify your life, prioritize 3 content buckets, and just keep rotating content see what works and just do more of that. So started like a 33, 33, 33 breakup of different content buckets in your niche. And if something is performing really well, slowly make it to 40%, 50%, and then maybe reassess the other two. I would say always keep one bucket sort of, what I would say minor bucket versus major buckets. The minor bucket is the one that you experiment with, you try different things out, to use it for experimentation and your creativity. And again, like I said, your goals and target persona is how you should look at it when you think about these content buckets. It's always a two-pronged approach, so that you're happy and so is your audience. And of course, like I said, your audience needs to perceive you as a top voice or an expert, because that verification badge that you don't get by paying, unlike Instagram, a little bit of shade there, um, that you need to get, and that you will only get if you are very particular about the kind of content that you're sharing and you are an expert in that content. So expertise comes from, again, creating content on that topic, or of course having experience in that topic. Experience obviously trumps everything. I think ChatGPT is a good place to start, or different AI tools are a great place to start. But I think these basics need to be covered. Video.ai, of course, is again, like, I feel like AI is a great tool for everything. But at the end of the day, these things need to be optimized for before you do anything else. Great. I think one more question that I get, which I want to cover already, so that I don't get this question at the Q&A round, is that when should you be posting on LinkedIn? I think regularity is more important than frequency here. So other platforms say that you should post every day. I would say, to start with, if you've never posted on LinkedIn, post once a week, and make sure that you're posting once a week every week. And then, of course, scale it up to twice or thrice a week. You don't need to post every day on LinkedIn. Of course, a lot of creators do that, and they see a good result. But I think, if you post once every 2 days, you will still get a lot of traction. And you might actually hurt the other post traction if you post too often. So I think if you spend a lot of time creating that video, give it at least 48 hours before you post another post. And of course, weekdays tend to do better. But usually, what I've noticed is, if you have highlighted your persona, if you know when they're reading, if that's the time you should be looking at. So mornings and late afternoons usually work really well. Late nights, not so much usually. And of course, as you can imagine, early morning is something, people, while going to commute or coming back from office, is when usually they read, or they check out LinkedIn. And as you can imagine, like any other platform, the only way to grow is to be consistent. So having that content calendar, having that planning done, making sure that you've batch created your content will always help you here. Great. And I think I'm on time. I'm very, very happy that we finished that at 7:30. I'm going to quickly talk about the Creator Chart program before we start the Q&A. So yeah, everyone would be wondering, so how is Creator Chart different? What exactly are we? So I think I'll give you a quick introduction about it. So Creator Chart was started because, I loved creating programs, and I think programs are a great way for you to learn something, and then of course, like, get that community that can help you further this down the line. And content creation is not like a short-term game, it's always a long-term game if you like to grow. And I think CreateChart really helps there, by giving you a 3 month um, program. And then of course, like, we also give you a community that helps you be abreast with what's happening with the algorithm, what's happening with different formats, what's performing really well, what's not performing really well, what's happening on different platforms, starting with LinkedIn, but we do want to look at other platforms in the future. So how would that work? If you're in the US, the pricing is $4,000 for the 3 month duration, so that's a steal in that sense. And who is the part of the program currently? We have 25 plus members, mostly from India, but we also have people from Singapore and Dubai, including 5 LinkedIn top voices. I will share the link of the program in the chat. Of course, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, or use the link to sign up for the program to learn more about this. And of course, because you sat through this entire presentation, you do get a 10% discount on the program fee, which means that you can work with us at $3,600, and I think that's a great steal deal for all of you to work with. And yeah, I'm happy to, of course, talk more once you sign up with us. And so, what does the program entail? I just gave you like a great offer, but what does it really what do we really do for you, right? We can talk about that. Now, we already went through the entire process. All of this will be personalized for you if you work with us. While it is a program and there will be other program participants, that's a community aspect that keeps you really, what I would say, motivated and regular, and you can also see how they're performing, which really helps. We help you identify your customer persona on LinkedIn, which is very different from other platforms. We do regular one-on-one check-ins to ensure that you're on track. We also give you weekly post ideas to create content with. We even have a dashboard that actually gives you multiple ideas to keep working with. Always making sure that you're super creative and you're excited about what's in store. And what we don't do definitely is ghostwrite. We don't ghostwrite scripts. We do check your scripts. We are happy to provide that input. If you have a team, we're happy to work with them. We will never give you anything that's hacky or against LinkedIn community guidelines, because we really love the platform and we don't want you to get blocked. And as you can imagine, the platform is very professional. It doesn't work like other platforms, which means that there's certain rules that you have to follow, and of course we're here as experts to help you do just that. Great. So we're in Q&A time. I feel like I've been talking forever. Nilabja, how did I do on time?
Hi, you're right on time. Great. That was amazing. That was pretty insightful. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. So, yes, we have a bunch of questions from the audience in the chat, and I'm going to get to them now. The first question that we have is from NoteFind that should be spotlighted on your screen right now. How often should we post videos as opposed to other forms of content on LinkedIn?
That's a very nice question. Thank you so much for asking. Like I said, you can start with once a week if you're just starting out. But honestly, I have creators who post 3 videos a week, and honestly, that works for them. Usually, they're very short videos, as you can imagine. Um, Under 1 minute, again, works really well on LinkedIn as well. So I think doing shorter videos is fine. If you're a video creator and you want to stick to video, that's also completely fine. I think that's also a great way to, again, have the same extension across different social media platforms, so that your community exactly knows that if I see a video on one platform, I probably see the same video here, and that's completely fine. So it depends on you. If you want to experiment a little bit, I would say one video a week. If you're creating something for LinkedIn specifically versus other social media platforms, because you might be creating more personalized content, more what I would say entertainment kind of content on other social media platforms. You can look at one video a week and use polls or um, longer posts, articles, etc. Even if you have a newsletter works. It's one of my favorite tools on LinkedIn. It works really well. You can really have that engaged sort of audience on the platform. So I would say definitely try different formats. But one video a week is good to start with. But you can also do all videos all week, and that will also do really well.
Right. Before I jump on to the next question, I just want to take a quick break to remind the audience that we have a code Tanya10, that's TANYA10, using which you can get 60% discount on our yearly paid plans. Please note that the offer is not applicable on monthly plans and it's only applicable during the webinar. So make sure that you use it. Go on the vidyo.ai app, click upgrade, you can enter the code in the designated section. It's as easy as that. If you have any questions, you can drop your question to the support team in the chat. The next question that we have is from Ezra. How to get the top
Great. I
voice
think I always get
badge.
this question a lot, and that's why I already put it in the deck, but I'm going to say it again. Keep posting about what you're known for. So if you have the relevant experience, if you're already, let's say if you're a finance content creator and you were a chartered accountant, or you have some financial degree, or you studied finance, or you have any sort of certification or accreditation, you should put it out on LinkedIn. That just adds to that kind of credibility. LinkedIn as a platform will always give the top voice badge only to people who are experts in their field, So you have to look at that. Like if you're sharing your expertise, now that expertise can also be content creation, by the way, but you need to just talk about those topics. At the end of the day, it's a professional platform, and they will only give you the badge if you're doing a great job in your field.
Absolutely. Right. The next question is from Hetal. Hetal asks how to increase engagement for a company LinkedIn page. Um, Carousels have gotten a lot of engagement for them, while other posts with images and videos don't particularly do well. So, looking for ways to
Got it.
increase engagement.
The reason carousels do really well, I have to tell you, is because each time you swipe a slide on carousel, that's actually counted as one session. Which means that if you have a slide with five if you have a carousel with 5 slides or even 10 slides, that's going to be counted as 10 engagements. And you know people love sliding carousels on any social media platform. So that is why you're seeing a lot more engagement in terms of impressions, I would say. I think carousels do also really well because they're a great format of storytelling, and I think mostly company pages are talking about either the employees or the products that they sell. It's a little promotional, which is why you will not see a lot of engagement on other formats because LinkedIn at the end of the day will highlight regular organic um, consumer, customer, even people like who are genuinely creating content over company page content unless it's sponsored. That's how LinkedIn marketing solution makes money because they get to buy ads and you can sponsor your content there. So I think Hetal, that you something that you can do if you're in a startup or if you're in a bigger company, you can ask your leadership to actually post that kind of content because that's a part of their KRA, and that way they will get more engagement versus the company page, and then just repost it to your company page. So you still see that higher engagement, but it's always going to do better if like actual people post it versus the company page unless you run an ad on it.
Right. I think we have a follow up question to that. Ezra also asked, which do you think would be more effective, posting on a company page or posting from an individual's page, and why?
Always individual, like I said, because at the end of the day you can be more personable and you can give a little bit of a story when you post from an individual page, and I think that really works a lot for people. Also, like a lot of people, let's say Nilabja, if you put out there that you're a vidyo.ai employee and you're posting about something that vidyo.ai is doing, that credibility is added if an employee is
Yeah.
posting versus like the company, so that a little bit of like personalization from a social media page happens. So I think you can make it a little bit of your own when you're posting it from individual's page, and like I said, repost it to your company page so that you still get the engagement, but and you still get your KRA on keeping the company page active, but you're doing it in the right way and getting as many eyeballs as possible for your organization.
Right. That's actually a really cool hack. Ezra also asks, can a company page by any chance get a top voice badge?
No, Topwise batches is only for individuals. You can get your company verified, but usually it's not a problem. If you're putting your website, especially if you're a small startup or a small organization, that's completely fine. And if you're a bigger company, I mean, you probably LinkedIn itself, they keep doing these security cleanups. So that let's say if a Microsoft has 10 different company pages, they probably will discontinue it if it's a fake company page automatically.
Got it. All right. We've got another question. How can I use LinkedIn video to show my boss my expertise as a content creator?
Interesting. I think if you want to keep your job, then you shouldn't talk about your skills and the fact that you probably need another job. I think what you can do though, as a content creator, you can talk about a day in the life in your office, or you can talk about if you're working from home, that what does your day in your life look like? Like a very lot of what I like to call behind the scenes or BTS content, because one very easy way to be creative, very easy way to be personable, very easy way to showcase your personality while again being in professional realm.
Absolutely. Right. So we've got a bunch of questions, or rather comments, surrounding how LinkedIn videos don't typically tend to get as many impressions as, an image or a carousel. And you've already addressed the carousel part. But how do you think when it comes to, posting videos to LinkedIn? What are some of the best practices that perhaps people can keep in mind to boost up engagement?
Yeah, I think a great thumbnail is a great idea. Again, like I said, the caption is really important. So if you're, writing the right caption, if you're using the correct hashtags that, get you a little bit more um, engagement and push, I think that's one way of going about it. Another thing that you can do, because usually LinkedIn does not like third-party links within the post. You can put the, let's say if you're putting a YouTube link or you're putting an Instagram link, put it in the comments instead. That's what I've seen a lot of creators do. And put a screenshot of the video. That's something that you can also experiment with. Or put a screenshot of the thumbnail, if you want to get more engagement on the third, like a third link, or like a third party link, right? That's what we like to call it. But I think you'll actually be surprised that in the recent past, like I said, because they've launched a separate video tab. I work with a video creator right now, and she's really popular on Instagram. I'm seeing very like, because she has a lot bigger audience on Instagram, of course, compared to LinkedIn, 1/10 actually. She's seeing a lot more impressions on LinkedIn than before. And she used to struggle with the same problem. But I think LinkedIn has now started embracing video. So it's just the right kind of, what I would say, putting out the right kind of content, putting relevant content, captions, hashtags. That's how you get more impressions for sure on LinkedIn.
Right. You brought up hashtags right now and during the presentation as well. Ezra had a question on any ETA when the hashtags will be continued and then corrected it to discontinued.
No,
So, is there any tag on that?
no ETA. The only thing that I can tell you is that they're slowly discontinuing it. So if on your profile the hashtags are not clickable, do not use hashtags. But till now, what I've seen, at least in India, what I can tell you from my feed, and I also have a lot of international folks in my network, the hashtags are very clickable for me. So I think they're slowly discontinuing it. But again, I don't have any idea on it. I think they just realized that, they'd like to. Something that I know about the LinkedIn algorithm is that first you want to reach out to your network. So let's say people that are in your connections. So that's where your connections really add a lot of role. So please add really important people or really active people in your connections, because then they're more likely to see your content versus your followers. So that's something I've noticed for sure.
Awesome. All right. Cohen has a comment more than a question. The comment is that the top voice is quite controversial. In my industry, professionally speaking, some of the best speakers aren't top voice, but some new joiners are top voice. What is your reaction or comment to it?
Yeah, interesting, Cohen. Is it because they're not active on LinkedIn? Like, you should let us know in the comments, because I think that's probably the reason that they haven't gotten the badge. Some of your new joiners might actually be top voices because they've understood the importance of LinkedIn and they're just doing the right things. Like I told you, the profile's completed, the fact that they're engaging with the right people, they're creating the right content, they're again showcasing their niche. So the age doesn't matter here. Like I said, the relevance is more important for the top voice badge.
Right. And the person who talked about showing their boss their expertise as a content creator has said that they like the company they work for. They just don't think they take content creation as seriously as the company could. And they just want to show them that they can reach a lot of people without getting themselves in trouble naturally. So, yeah, definitely. Like you pitched in, a LinkedIn video, carousel, and images are a great way for the company page to sort of boost up engagement, right?
Yeah.
Great. All right. What's the purpose of LinkedIn videos typically? Where do they fit for your clients in their funnel? Would be my next question.
Yeah, interesting question. Thanks, Nilabja. I think for them, what they've realized is, and this is the power of video, and I think you and I both know that, when you see somebody on video, you immediately get very, you feel like you know them. So there's a lot of personalization there. And I think we now live in a very remote world, even though a lot of us are back in offices, but we still live in a very remote world. So I think a lot of my clients use LinkedIn, especially who are founders and people in the consultant space or people who are freelancers specifically who work with me. They have noticed that the video just adds like that kind of credibility that hey, this is a person I'd like to work with. And I think, as you can imagine, a lot of decision makers, a lot of people with a lot of influence are active on LinkedIn versus other social media platforms. And so, if you can convince them that you're the right person for whatever job that you want to do, including our anonymous friend who wants to showcase content creation, that just adds as like more of an RTB because videos have such a strong impact compared to, let's say, written word. And I would say if you are really good at it and if you know that you can do this in a very regular, consistent way, I think video can be more rewarding even than the written format, to be honest.
Absolutely. And you talk about rewards, right? So I want to understand in terms of how rewarding videos can be. Do they perform well so your social numbers look better, or can LinkedIn videos also be used to capture inbound leads?
Yeah, I think from an inbound leads perspective, see, LinkedIn is a very different platform. You have to understand that something we used to say back in the day, and I still would say now that I'm, not a part of LinkedIn anymore, is that one LinkedIn follower or one engagement on LinkedIn is much more powerful than YouTube or Instagram because you have to realize it's a more secure, safe, professional platform. So literally, like marketing managers or let's say CEOs or founders have actual profiles and that are interacting with your content versus what I would say like anonymous people on other social media platforms, right? Who can't even like there are a lot of bots and there are a lot of security issues on other social media platforms. So I would never say that numbers are a way that you should look at LinkedIn. Of course, numbers matter, and I know engagement is important. I think look at how many people are you reaching, what kind of people are you reaching from the content perspective with your analytics. But I think how many leads you're getting will only be related to how good your content is. And by good, I don't mean entertaining. I mean how much value you're providing to your audience. And I think that is something that a lot of people miss out on and give up on because they're like, oh, I just got 100 likes here and I got like 100,000 likes on Instagram or YouTube. But that's not really important, right? Like those 100 likes actually are people who will give you business, who might do collaboration with you that literally pay for the rest of the year if you do it right. So I think see the power of like influence on LinkedIn versus the numbers. I think that's really important to look at from an ROI perspective.
Right. One of the people in the audience asked if they can get the recording of this. So, yes, there will be a replay link available on YouTube. You can go watch it in case you missed out on the first half of the masterclass. Right, Tanya, follow up question on that. What are some of the tools you use at different stages of video production to create, publish your LinkedIn videos? What are some of the tools you like to use?
Great. Thank you so much for asking that question. I think for me, like the tools that I use, I've just started video to be honest with you, as a marketing tool myself, and I really want to get better at video. You can see I really enjoy doing something like this. So I think for sure would have to do this for Creator Chat to get more customers. I think using a great hook honestly really works on LinkedIn too. You know for a fact that you can get people hooked on if you start with the value prop at the end of the day. That's what people come for. So if you try to summarize it with a good hook from the first sentence, I think that's really important. Like I said, because people are reading, even if you have one line in your caption, that one line needs to be very strong enough for them to want to watch a 1 minute or 2 minute video. You know how people's attention span are super small. So I would say shorter videos, better captions, making sure that it's a part of like getting that kind of comfort in getting people to either become your customers or even if you want to get them to your free links or free resources, getting them as a part of your community. I know a lot of you might be trying to harness a community. If you're not, please do. I hope you have like newsletters and you have like other options besides social media platforms, because that's exactly how you will continue to create impact in these people's lives who are your super fans. So I think that's exactly how I'm using LinkedIn. And I actually recently tried out vidyo.ai because of you guys, of course. And I love the fact that you help me shorten parts of the video very seamlessly. And as you can imagine, love talking, so need that specifically if I have a script and I know exactly what are the sentences I'd like to highlight, or what is the work I'd like to, put out there and experiment with at the end of the day. I think that's a great way to go about it. And across different social media platforms, right? Like we spoke about how what works on LinkedIn might not work on other social media platforms. So I think you can create an amazing video and do all these shots and then use vidyo.ai to find different videos for different platforms.
Yeah, I just want to jump in here and say, you talked about how important it is to have a great hook for your video to reel in the audience. And video has AI power technology that identifies the best hooks from your long form video, then splices your long form content into short form content with some really great hooks. So you don't need to worry about manually editing those videos or putting in time and labor to get those videos with great hooks out. You're getting them automatically made using video.ai. And if you want to add any text onto the video, you want to overlay any image or video or text, you can easily do that using this software. In fact, I completely believe in the power of diversifying social media channels and ensuring that whatever you're putting out, you're not restricting yourself to one platform, but you're putting it out on as many channels as you can, because you don't know what will work where, right? Initially, when you're in the experimentation stage. And video.ai also helps you schedule and publish your social media content on 6 channels, if you are on their paid plan. So if you haven't bought the paid plan yet, or if you are on their paid plan and if you feel like upgrading, to a premium version, feel free to use Tanya's code. It is Tanya10. That's TANYA10, and get 60% off the annual plan. It's a great deal. It's not available on the monthly plans, only available on our yearly plan. So make sure that grab onto the offer. It's not available outside of the stipulated time of this webinar. So make sure that you're quick. You click upgrade, you enter the code in the video.ai app, and just sort of scale up your content creation journey and create impactful LinkedIn videos, right? Yeah, do you have any closing words for the audience members before we, break?
Yeah, I think if all of you, like most of you, probably don't know me, or if you know me, please say hi. I would love to connect on LinkedIn, as you can imagine, but I'm also available on other social media platforms. I think a lot of you have like created videos, and I'd love tips from you on how to be successful on other social media platforms. So please connect with me. Would love to see the content on LinkedIn if you do connect with me. And of course, I'm just a DM away if you have any questions about what would work on LinkedIn. I always have tons of, by the way, examples to show on how creators like you, or even like bigger creators, are succeeding on LinkedIn using video. And I think we're just going to see a lot more of that in the future. So I think the future is really bright from a video content perspective. And especially, I think a lot of your audience in Abjada is also like people who are probably like working at companies or corporates or startups and creating
Yeah.
video for work, right? I think if they're not using LinkedIn on their personal profiles, they're really missing out, like I said, because while video is great for company pages, you can share a lot more if you use it for your individual pages. And we've just discovered all of that with all these amazing examples that we had. I think I also saw in the chat and loved that some of them could not see the pictures that well. So I'm happy to, like, again, share those examples if they reach out, and happy to share a copy of the deck if of course you have to reach out on LinkedIn right there, and I'm happy to do that.
Absolutely. We have shared Tanya's LinkedIn on the chat. You can connect with Tanya there. We've also linked to the Creator Chart website in the chat box. So make sure that if you want to connect with Tanya on LinkedIn, or if you want to contact Creator Chart, you use those links. And yeah, Tanya, it was amazing to have you here and to host you. And this was an incredibly insightful masterclass. Thank you so, so much for joining us. And a lot of folks found it incredibly helpful. That's the kind of feedback we got. And yeah, please keep creating impactful LinkedIn content and inspiring us.
Okay, thank you so much, Lavjita. Lovely having you here, and your team's wonderful. And like I said, please keep letting us know what we can do better. Happy to take any feedback that you have, because this really helps us grow as entrepreneurs in general. So happy to do that, and thank you so much for sticking on till the end.
Right. Last comment because it's a very cute comment. Shoshana says, "Thank you so much for the webinar. Your openness, insights, and warmth. That is very sweet of you, Shoshana. Thank you so so much. We appreciate it. Yes, and thanks everyone for joining. We'll catch you in the next masterclass. Have a great day or night wherever you are. Thank you. Bye."